A stranger called my neighbor last month and knew things about her grandson that she had never told anyone outside her own family. His name, his school, even the fact that he'd just gotten his driver's license. She hadn't given this man a single piece of that information. And yet, somehow, he knew enough to make her believe, for almost 10 full minutes, that her grandson was in real trouble. By the time she hung up the phone, her hands were shaking, and she had nearly sent money to a person she had never met, for a problem that never actually existed. If you have grandchildren, or children, or anyone in your life you post about online, I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what happened to her is happening to people every single day, and almost nobody understands exactly how these strangers get the information in the first place. Before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome to After 60 Truths, where we talk honestly about the things nobody warns us about as we get older. If that sounds like something you need in your life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now, and give this video a like before we continue, because it genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this exact warning. Alright, let's get into it. Her name doesn't matter for this story, so let's just call her Carol. Carol is 68 years old, retired, and like a lot of grandparents her age, she loves sharing her life online. Birthday parties, holiday dinners, her grandson's soccer games. Every milestone, she posted it, tagged it, celebrated it publicly, the same way millions of us do every single day without thinking twice. She wasn't careless, she wasn't foolish, she was just a proud grandmother, doing what proud grandmothers do. One ordinary Tuesday afternoon, her phone rang. The number looked local, so she answered without hesitation. On the other end was a young man's voice, panicked, almost crying, saying, "Grandma, it's me." Carol, caught off guard, said her grandson's name out loud, trying to figure out which grandchild was calling in distress. And that was the only piece of information the caller actually needed from her, because the moment she said his name, he simply agreed. "Yeah, Grandma, it's me." From that point forward, he had a name to work with, and everything else in the conversation was built around information he already had before he ever dialed her number. He told her he'd been in a car accident, that he'd been arrested, that he needed money for bail before news of this reached his parents, because he was too embarrassed and too scared to tell them himself. He knew the name of the town Carol lived in. He knew her grandson attended community college nearby. He even mentioned, almost casually, the name of the street where her daughter lived. Every detail he dropped made the story feel more real, more urgent, more impossible to doubt. Carol later told me that in the moment, none of it felt like guesswork on his part. It felt like knowledge. Like he genuinely knew her family. Here's the part that matters most in this whole story, and it's the part almost nobody explains clearly enough. This man did not hack into anything. He did not break into any account. He did not need to. Every single detail he used against Carol that day was sitting out in the open, posted publicly, over months and years, across her own social media, her daughter's social media, and her grandson's social media. Nothing was stolen in the way we usually imagine theft. It was simply collected, patiently, from information that had already been given away for free. I want to walk you through exactly how this happens, step by step, because once you see the pattern, you will never look at a simple family photo the same way again. It usually starts with something as innocent as a birthday post. A proud grandmother writes, "Happy 19th birthday to my amazing grandson," tags him by his full name, and includes a photo. That single post now confirms an exact age, an exact name, and a family relationship, all verified publicly by the person posting it. Scammers who specifically target older adults know that a grieving or celebrating grandparent is far more emotionally vulnerable to a phone call claiming their grandchild is in trouble, so these accounts are often the very first ones they look for. From there they move to the grandchild's own profile, if it's public, or even partially public, a location tag from a college campus, a photo in a team jersey with the school's name visible, a comment thread where a friend jokingly writes, Can't believe you got your license last week, giving away a recent, very specific, very believable detail. None of this feels dangerous when it's posted. It feels like ordinary life, shared the way families have always shared their pride in each other. But to someone searching specifically for this kind of information, it reads like a script waiting to be performed. Next, they look at check-ins and location tags. A post that says, "Family dinner at mom's house tonight," with a location pin attached, tells a stranger not just where someone lives, but that multiple family members will be gathered there on a specific evening, which is exactly the kind of detail that makes a follow-up scam call feel disturbingly accurate. "I know you're all together right now. Please don't tell anyone else," a scammer might say, and suddenly the family's own transparency becomes the very tool used against them. And then there's the comment section itself, which is often overlooked entirely. Grandparents love to comment on their grandchildren's posts, and grandchildren love to comment back. "Miss you. Call me at the house phone later," someone might write, unintentionally revealing that a home phone even exists and gets used. "Tell Dad happy anniversary," reveals a parent's name and a life event. Each comment on its own seems completely harmless. Strung together over months, they form a surprisingly complete profile of an entire family, including names, relationships, routines, and even emotional soft spots. This is the part where the story stops being about Carol specifically, because Carol's situation is a composite of a pattern seen again and again across countless real families, not a single individual's exact experience, and nothing in this video should be taken as a factual account of one specific case, or as legal or financial advice. What matters isn't the specific details of any one story. What matters is understanding the pattern clearly enough that you can recognize it happening in your own life, before it costs you anything. So let's talk about why this particular scam works so well on people in our age group specifically, because there's real psychology behind it, and understanding that psychology is exactly what protects you from it. Scammers who run what's often called the grandparent scam are counting on three very specific things working in their favor. The first is love. A grandparent's instinct to protect a grandchild in trouble overrides logical thinking faster than almost any other emotion. The second is urgency. They create a scenario where there's no time to stop and verify anything, no time to call another family member, no time to think clearly, because every second of hesitation is framed as another second their grandchild suffers. And the third, which is the one most people don't expect, is embarrassment. They frame the entire crisis as something the grandchild doesn't want their own parents to know about, which conveniently removes the one person most likely to catch the lie immediately, because a parent knows exactly where their child actually is. Put those three things together, love, urgency, and secrecy, and you have a situation specifically engineered to bypass the kind of careful, skeptical thinking that would normally protect any of us. Now, here's the good news, and this is really the entire point of this video. Once you understand how these scammers gather their information, you can take back control of it, without giving up the joy of sharing your family's life online. This isn't about disappearing from social media entirely, or refusing to celebrate your grandchildren publicly. It's about being intentional with a few specific habits. The first habit is checking your privacy settings on every platform you use, not just once, but periodically, because platforms change their default settings more often than people realize, sometimes quietly resetting things to public without any clear notification. Take 10 minutes this week, go into your account settings, and make sure your posts are visible only to people you've actually approved as friends or followers, not to the general public. The second habit involves a small delay. Instead of posting about a trip, a family gathering, or a location the moment it happens, wait until after the event is over to share it. A photo from a family dinner posted the next morning carries all the same joy and pride, without announcing in real time exactly where multiple family members can be found together right now. The third habit is talking directly with your grandchildren about what they post, and asking them to be thoughtful about tagging your exact location, your full name, or details about your daily routine in ways that are visible to strangers. This isn't about restricting them. It's a two-way conversation, because in most families, it's actually the younger generation oversharing information that puts the older generation at risk, not the other way around. And the fourth habit, which is honestly the single most important one in this entire video, is creating a family code word. This is something security experts increasingly recommend, and it is remarkably simple. Sit down with your children and grandchildren, just once, and agree on a word or phrase that only your real family would know. Something never posted online, never mentioned in any text message. If you ever receive a call claiming to be a family member in distress, calmly ask for that code word. A scammer, no matter how convincing their voice or their story sounds, will never be able to give it to you. This single conversation, which takes maybe 5 minutes to have with your family, can completely dismantle this entire type of scam before it even has a chance to work. I also want to give you one more piece of practical advice, because it matters just as much as anything else in this video. If you ever receive a call like the one Carol received, the single most powerful thing you can do is simply hang up and call your grandchild directly, using the phone number you already have saved for them, not any number the caller gives you. In genuinely urgent situations, this takes less than a minute, and it either confirms the emergency immediately, or it exposes the lie immediately. Either way, you're no longer making decisions under pressure created by someone else's script. I know some of what I've shared today might feel a little unsettling, and that's honestly not my intention. My intention is exactly the opposite. Understanding exactly how these situations happen takes away their power over you. Fear only works when something feels mysterious and unpredictable. Once you see the mechanics behind it, once you understand that this is simply information being pieced together from things freely shared, rather than some kind of sophisticated hacking, it becomes something you can actually protect yourself against, calmly and confidently, without giving up the parts of your life you actually love sharing. Carol, by the way, is doing just fine now. Once she understood what had actually happened, she sat down with her whole family, adjusted her privacy settings together with her daughter, and they created their own family code word that same week. She still posts pictures of her grandson online. She's just a little more thoughtful about the timing and the details now, and that one small shift made all the difference. If this video helped you see something you hadn't thought about before, do me a favor and leave a comment letting me know, because I read every single one, and it genuinely helps me understand what matters most to this community. If you know someone in your life, a parent, a friend, a fellow grandparent, who shares a lot online the same way Carol did, please consider sharing this video with them directly. Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones least likely to see a warning like this on their own, and a simple share from someone they trust can make all the difference before something like this ever has the chance to happen to them. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today here on After 60 Truths. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that, so you don't miss the next honest, practical conversation we have together. Take care of yourself, take care of the people you love, and I'll see you in the next one.